Hi, my name is Edward Eiseman. It is both an honor and a privilege to speak to you today about my military career and the impact that it has had on me over my lifetime. I joined the military fresh out of high school when I was 19 years old. I went to basic training and military police school in Fort McClellan, Alabama. Following basic training and military police school, I drilled after that. What the drills mean is that you train for what your job is. I was military police, so we did drills and training for military police so that we were prepared for any mission that might come our way. In 1985, at the end of the year, my unit was sent to the Philippines to do security operations when there was a little bit of a skirmish going on between the current Philippine president at the time and his challengers. When I returned from the Philippines, there was a letter in my mailbox asking if I wanted to go to officer candidate school. The letter basically said that I had the skills and the capabilities to be a good officer in the military. I accepted that challenge, and I did go to officer candidate school where I graduated fourth in my class. Once I became an officer in the military, I had different responsibilities and duties. I oversaw a platoon where I had 4 platoon sergeants, and I had 4 squads of 10 members per squad. So I was overseeing 40 people. In 1987, I was sent to Fort Rucker, Alabama, to help develop security operations for nuclear munitions from the rear area to the front. I accepted that challenge and that responsibility. In 1990, my unit was activated to go to Operation Desert Storm. My unit was sent to Germany to do counterterrorism and security ops in Germany for 6 months. While I was away, my first son's mom was pregnant with our first son at the time. That was a scary thing, to be thousands of miles away from home while your wife is pregnant with their first child. But at that point, there wasn't really much I could do about it. And so I accepted that challenge, I accepted that responsibility, and most of all, I accepted that commitment. I returned from Desert Storm in June of 1991, and a month later, my first son was born. I was so proud, and I still am to this day. I look back over my military career and I asked myself, what were some of the things that I learned? Well, I learned a lot of things. See, in the military, we're not black, we're not white, we're not Hispanic. We're all one race. We're the military. For me, I was the United States Army. We all wore green. And that's what we all looked forward to. We are all one unit, and we came together as a unit. That camaraderie, that commitment, that sense of duty, that sense of accomplishment, those are things that have stayed with me over my life. There were a lot of hardships when I was in the military, a lot of tough things that we had to accomplish, physical and mental. And it's not easy when you're in the military, not to say the least. But it is a challenge that every person that joins the military accepts and commits to and accomplishes during their time in the military. I'm 54 years old. I reflect and I look back over my time in the military, the medals that I got, the friends that I made, the commitment that I had to make. And I reflect back on that with a great sense of honor. I say to people that I come across to as I get older and I reflect back on my life, life is a resume. What you do in life is going to be a reflection of what you're going to look back on many years to come. Will you be happy with your life resume? Did you do what needed to be done? Were you happy with what you did? I am happy with what I did. Joining the military was one of the greatest honors that I've ever had, and I'll always remember. Thank you very much again for letting me speak briefly about my military career, some of the things that it's meant to me, and how I feel now as we approach this Veterans Day on this very challenging 2020. I hope I can have another opportunity to speak with you sometime in the future. Have a great day. God bless.
Good afternoon. My name is Joseah. I'm the father of Grace and Eden Zaya. I'm also a veteran, and I looked over the questions, and there are 10 questions that you can choose from, and the questions that I chose to answer is question number 1, which is what motivated you to join the Army, and question number 3, which is where did you serve a majority of your time? So for the first question, what motivated you to join the Army? Originally, my parents are not from the United States of America. They immigrated here from Iraq. They came at a time where Iraq and Iran were getting ready to go to war. So they decided that it would be a better idea to leave the country because, you know, a lot of dangerous stuff was getting ready to happen. So they immigrated to Greece, and from Greece, they were authorized to come to the United States. So I always felt like I owed it to the United States to serve because my parents were immigrants. So I felt like I had to do something to thank the United States for allowing them to come and live in the United States. So that's the first question. The second question is where did you serve a majority of your time? To be honest, I served the majority of my time. I did 4 years in the Army. And I served the majority of my time at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. It's 101st Airborne Division. However, the most memorable time I had in the Army was my first duty station, and I was stationed in Korea. I was stationed at Camp Casey in Korea. We are about, I want to say, less than 20 miles from the DMZ, which separates North Korea and South Korea. The reason I enjoyed my time there, or the reason that it was memorable, is because that was my first time going to another country and seeing how different of a culture they have from our own American culture, and trying to assimilate kind of to their culture, the way they do things, the food they eat. You know, I was really big into martial arts, so I got to see martial arts from a different lens. Also, like I said, the food they eat there is completely different than what we eat here. Although there were McDonald's or Burger King, things like that, but that wasn't like their main thing. You know, those weren't their main dishes. And it was just a blessing to be in a country where you can learn so much from the people and appreciate how different of a culture it is, and them appreciating us for being there and protecting them from North Korea, which is I don't want to say an enemy, but they're at something like what you would call like a cease war. They're still technically at war, but they're not fighting anymore. It's kind of like a timeout. They've taken a timeout for, I don't know, I want to say the last 50 years or something like that. And I hope the timeout officially one day becomes a peace treaty and there's peace between them. But we'll see what happens. I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to share my experience through this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and have a great weekend. Bye.
Hello, my name is Jack Lippert from Round Lake, Illinois. I proudly served in the United States Army in 1967, 68, 69, serving 18 months overseas in Baumholder, Germany as a tank driver. I got discharged in July of 1969 as E5 or Spec 5. I was very proud to serve in the United States Army for my country.
Hello kids, my name is Joseph Kowalczyk. I'm the grandfather of Reagan Lawson.
Where did you serve the majority of time of service?
I served the majority of time in Vietnam.
Which medals are you most honored to have received and why?
I'm honored to receive the Army Commendation of a Medal with a V device for valor and heroism.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Veterans Day at Euclid Elementary. My name's Shubert Wright. I'm a retired U.S. Army Master Sergeant with 27 years of service. I want to say I love you to my great nieces Emma, Molly, and Rosie, and my great nephew Henry. I joined the military in 1985. because my father was in the military. He was a World War II veteran. I had several brothers that were in the military. My best duty assignment was Europe, Germany. I spent 9 years there. Loved it. I had 4 tours of duty in Iraq, a tour of duty in Bosnia, and I just want to say thank you for doing this for us, and go Eagles!
Hi, District 26. Happy Veterans Day to all the kids and staff with family members that are currently serving or have served in the past. My name is Aaron Wagner. I am a United States Army veteran, and I'm also the nephew of Dr. Wagner, the superintendent of District 26. I'm honored and grateful to be able to share a little bit of my experience about when I was in the Army. What motivated me to join the military was pretty generic call to service. I enjoyed war and military movies as a kid. I had a great grandfather who served during World War II. And it was something that was always in the back of my mind, and I finally made the decision to join when I was 19 years old. The achievement that I'm most proud of from when I was in the military was being able to earn the Ranger tab. Ranger School is the Army's premier leadership school. It's open to all branches of the armed forces. It's actually open to members of certain foreign services as well. It's an incredibly challenging school. Not a lot of people attend and even less graduate. So I'm pretty proud to have been able to complete that school. Pretty funny story from Ranger School was about 4 or 5 days into mountain phase. And mountain phase of Ranger School is in the Blue Ridge Mountains in northern Georgia. And we hadn't slept much, as we didn't sleep a lot in Ranger School at all. We hadn't eaten much because we weren't eating a lot in Ranger School either. And we were about, I think it was day 5 or day 6 into the field training exercise in the mountains. And I saw one of my squad mates, colleagues, classmates, teammates, who was standing up next to a tree in the middle of the night when we were supposed to be observing and hiding and acting of tactical nature. He was standing at this tree kind of bumping into it. And I was worried that an instructor was going to see him and we were going to get a bad grade. And I ran over to him real quick and was like, hey man, what are you doing? Get down. The instructor's going to see you. And he's poking the tree and he's like, why can't I get this Snickers? And it came to me that he was hallucinating. He was so hungry and he was so tired that he thought the tree was a vending machine. And later on, after we had graduated and we had gotten our sleep and had our fill of food, we laughed about it. And it turned out that that wasn't the only time that had happened. It was actually somewhat common in Ranger School for students to be that hungry and that tired, to be hallucinating that they were seeing food in different ways they could get food. And that, I think, is how they coined the phrase Hungry Ranger. I also had the distinct privilege of getting to work with and meet some incredible heroes while I was in the Army. There's one that stands out more above the rest. He was my sergeant major in my infantry battalion. Sergeant major is the highest rank for enlisted soldiers in an organization. So he was in charge of soldier discipline, soldier training, and general soldier proficiency for about a group of 4,500 soldiers. He had been in the Army for 30 years, and he, in 2006, during one of his trips to Iraq, he got injured pretty bad. He actually lost his eye, and he wears this glass eye. So he's this real menacing, stereotypical infantry type guy. Just kind of grunts as he walks around, but he's extremely intelligent And all he cared about was the well-being, safety, and proficiency of his soldiers and his battalion. And I'm incredibly honored and grateful to have been able to serve for him and with him. Actually, I went on a tour with him to Iraq while I was in the Army, and you could tell that he had mastered his skill and wanted to share it with every soldier he could before he retired. That's a little bit about me. I hope that everybody is staying happy and healthy, and enjoy Veterans Day.
Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Kaliza here. I have my Uncle Ron here with us today, and he actually was on a Navy ship in the year 1968, 69. And he's going to tell us a little bit of what he experienced on his Navy ship. Here he is. So, Uncle Ron, what motivated you to join the military?
At the time, there was drafting a lot of people, so I didn't want to go into the Army. I'd rather go into the Coast Guard or the Navy, and so I got into the Navy instead.
Tell me a little bit about your time in boot camp.
My boot camp was at the Glenview Naval Air Station, which is the Glens now, and there was like 75 of us, and lost a lot of sleep because everybody likes to get up early in the service, and it was a lot of work, a lot of training and drills, and that's about it with boot camp.
Where did you serve the majority of the time in service?
I spent 2 tours of duty, 68 and 69, in the South China Seas, the Republic of Vietnam.
What rank are you most proud of?
I became a 3rd-class petty officer, and there's a little work to get there and that, but I accomplished that. I could have made a 2nd-class petty officer, but they had a cut, and I didn't want to re-enlist for 6 more months to get the rank.
Which medals or citations are you most honored to have received, and why?
I have four medals. I have the National Defense Medal. I have the Republic of Vietnam Medal. I got the Meritorious Unit citation, and I have the Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal. There's 4 of them, and it's nice to get all of them. I mean, it's hard to say which one do you like the most. So they all mean something.
Tell me a funny story you experienced that could only happen in the military.
Well, we traveled a lot to different countries, and we were in Taiwan, and we went a tour there. We did a lot of tours in these different countries, and we went on a tour in the back to see some of these small villages and everything. And this one part of it is you go from one village to the other was between like 2 small mountain ranges with a big river below. To get across to the other side, they had zip lines. So we're all looking at each other. What are we doing here? I mean, we're a little bigger than a lot of these Chinese people there. So we sat on this little chair on the zip line, and then you go shooting across the thing, and you're up there a little bit. I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing here? It doesn't make it all the way across. There's a guy in the river with a long pole, and he hooks it onto the bottom, and he pulls you across. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should have just went back instead of done this. And it was interesting, though, going there. But I enjoyed a lot going to these different countries and seeing how their cultures was, and that was interesting. And in Japan, which I was amazed at, in Japan, American English is a required subject. We'd be on the train getting from one town to another, and all these school children would come aboard, and they always come around the Americans. They want you to talk to them so they can feel out how to pronounce the words and put words together. So whenever we're on these trains, we'd always have these school children all around us, just asking us questions so they can hear how we pronounce the words and put words together in a sentence, which was kind of interesting. But they really put a lot into their schooling there.
Boys and girls, as you can see, there are so many people that helped our country become the place it is. If you look at Uncle Ron's hat, one of them says, "Hug a veteran today." It does it right over here. So you should always be very, very conscientious of everyone that fought for our country and continues to do so today. We thank Uncle Ron today for sharing his stories, and we hope that you learned how important it is to continue to try your best and achieve all. See you again soon.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to New York Island, from the woodburn forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
I've roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
When the sun came shining and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling, as the fog was lifting